In this new tutorial, we're going to sew a super soft bunny rattle using my free pattern. You can print the PDF from home by clicking the link in the description below. I've also listed all the materials you'll need there. So, let's start by cutting out the bunny's face, belly and back. For the ears, we're going to cut along the black dotted lines and the solid line at the base. You'll see why in a minute. Now, take your cotton fabric and trace the outline of the two ears on the wrong side. Then, place the fur fabric underneath, right sides together. Pin everything in place. Alright, let's head to the sewing machine. We're going to stitch all our seams with a stretch stitch. I recommend setting your stitch length to 1.6 mm for better precision. Sew directly on the traced lines, but make sure to skip the bottom line of the ears because later that opening will let us turn them right side out. Okay, I say this a lot, but don't forget to backstitch a few stitches at the beginning and end of your seams. Next step, cut around the seams, leaving a few millimeters of allowance, and also cut the bottom of the ears along the line, but be careful not to cut your stitches. Before turning, snip into the curves and trim the very pronounced curve at the tips of the ears. I really designed this rattle so it's perfect for little baby hands and has interesting textures plus a fun little noise. The ears are ready, so now let's move on to the bunny's face. Pin the face pattern onto the right side of your fur fabric. I suggest picking a fabric that has fur on the front but not on the back, because I actually tried using double-sided fur, but it slipped too much and didn't give a good result. Using a needle, pre-punch the paper at the little dots like this. Next, grab some regular embroidery thread. Out of the 6 strands, we'll only use 2 to embroider the eyes, nose and mouth. And we're going to do this with a chain stitch. So, a quick technical aside on another fabric to show you how to do it. Insert the needle at the end of the line to start the first chain stitch. Bring the needle back up through the same hole, but don't pull all the way, just form a small loop. Now, poke a little further along, pass the needle through the loop and pull gently. The first chain stitch is done. For the next stitch, go back into the loop at the entry point, form another little loop and pass the needle through it, and so on. When you finish the last stitch in the line, poke the needle not through the loop, but just below it. On the back of the fabric, pass the thread under one of the lines to tie a simple knot, and you can cut the thread. Since you can't mark fur fabric easily, I came up with this little pre-punched dot trick to embroider the face using a chain stitch like this. Once both eyes are done, embroider the V of the nose, the mouth shaped like a 3, and finish with a stitch connecting the mouth and nose. Now we can cut out the head. Here comes the most satisfying step, seeing our bunny's face come to life. While we are at it, a little favor, a like and a hello in the comments would really help me get more visibility. Thanks a ton in advance. Next, fold the cotton fabric in half along the grain line, place the belly pattern, and trace the cutting line. Do the same for the back piece. Here, you'll need to transfer the marking of the area not to be sewn to the wrong side of the fabric. For the entire back piece, I recommend marking the seam line like I'm doing here, because it makes sewing so much easier. Finally, mark the placement for the ears on the right side of the fabric. Let's continue by assembling the head and belly. Align the edges of the two pieces right sides together and pin. Then stitch 5 mm from the edge. Give it a little press with the iron just to open the seams before the final assembly of our bunny. On the right side of the back piece, pin the ears to the markings. Now, stitch 5 mm from the edge using the line we marked earlier as a guide. Honestly, I think it really makes life easier. Of course, don't forget to leave the opening for turning the bunny right side out. As usual, clip all the curves and angles and trim the pronounced curves at the ends of the legs. Here comes my favorite step. I'm guessing yours too. Our bunny rattle is starting to come to life, and I hope you're proud of it. Now we're going to stuff it with batting and hide a little bell inside. For me, this is finally a chance to use, those lints called chocolate bunny bells? I don't know why, but I save them every year. Alright, the only thing left is closing the opening with an invisible stitch. If you're looking for another super cuddly sewing project, check out my tutorial on the Goose Lovey.